Mayor Rilling, you just won re-election to a second term by a substantial margin. Anything you'd like to say to residents of Norwalk?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for the residents for giving me the opportunity to serve a second term as mayor. The first time was a wonderful opportunity to start moving Norwalk forward, and now I have the opportunity to continue what we've started, which is really important. So I really appreciate the support that the community has shown, and look forward to working hard in the next 2 years to keep things going.
And what will be your priorities over the next 2 years?
Well, there's a lot of things that need to happen. First and foremost, we're going to be starting to work on our operating budget for 2016-2017. And I've given instructions to my finance director and my department heads that we need to come in either at or close to zero increase, because we really need to get our arms around taxes, make sure that we're not forcing our senior citizens out of their homes. We want to make sure that we're enabling young people to come in and buy their first home in Norwalk. So taxes are a big concern to me. So we want to make sure we get our arms around that. I will be reaching out again to the Connecticut Conference on Municipalities and trying to be a champion for tax reform, so we don't have to rely so heavily on property taxes in the city, or any city. As I've mentioned during the campaign, it's a very regressive form of taxation, and so there are other alternatives that we should explore. The other thing, as you know, our schools are at 100% capacity. Over the past couple of months, I've been working closely with Dr. Adamowski and people from his staff to find a way that, well, for two things. First, a short-term approach, and when I say short-term, kind of a stopgap, we're talking 3 to 5 years. Long-term approach, we have to plan for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We have to look at demographics. We have to look at our population expectations, whether they're going to grow, who's going to be coming into the community. Is it going to increase our student body population? So we want to make sure that we're on top of that. That's really very important to me as well. And we have to look at our capital expenditures that are going to be required in order to bring our schools into a state of good repair, whether we're going to have to add to existing school buildings, or whether we're going to have to try to acquire property to build an additional school or two, and where would we do that?
For the short term, have you identified any buildings which might be used? Because you had said during the campaign that you had a team that went out.
Yes, we looked at land. We looked at an existing building that had been used as a school. And right now, both of them are presenting challenges, significant challenges. So we're not sure either one of those are going to be suitable. There are some other existing buildings around town that we're looking at that might be used again for, for instance, we're looking to build 6 classrooms up at the existing Roosevelt School. So we're looking, maybe we can find 6, we've got an idea of where we might find 6 to 8 classrooms that we can put those students in now until we're able to build the classrooms up at Roosevelt School.
Charter revision, will that be revisited?
Yes, I think for the most part, the returning council members all feel that charter revision is an important process, and that we need to we need to move forward with it. So that will be coming up, I think, rather early in this next term. I'm also looking to see how we can make city services more efficient. I'm looking at the possibility of some consolidations of function, whether or not there's duplication of efforts in some areas. There's the possibility that we might be able to consolidate positions so that we don't So again, so that we reduce duplication of effort. We want to make sure that we are running the government as efficiently and smoothly as possible.
So these are about positions and not consolidating departments?
Right, yeah,
Okay.
positions.
Any areas you've identified thus far?
Not really. We're just kind of starting to take a look at that.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, during the campaign, some residents called for hiring a city planner.
Mhm.
Will that be pursued?
Yes, we're going to be looking at the city planning function, how we might achieve that, how we're going, and I felt very strongly that the city should at least explore hiring a city planner. You know, we're a growing community, and we need a good degree of expertise to make sure that we do it properly. You know, I know current existing staff are highly qualified, and when you hire another person to perform a function, that there's a cost attached to that. So these are all things that have to be evaluated and weighed, but I'm going to start that process, and we're going to be starting to look at whether or not, and if we hire a city planner, how that person is going to fit into the overall structure of the government, the city government.
Okay. Will a revision of the city's master plan be undertaken within the next 2 years?
Well, that's something that we are required to start doing by law. We have, you know, it doesn't need to be redone. We can take a look at that and say, okay, we think it's adequate, or we think it's still a viable plan. I'm not so sure that will be the case, because if you look at the city master plan, it's more of a very basic guide. So we're going to take the Economic Development Action Plan that we just had, take that with the city master plan, look at both of those documents together, look at some of the individual master plans that we have for Webster Street and Wall Street, and make sure that, again, trying to consolidate it all so we have some sort of a logical roadmap of where we are, where we want to be, and how we're going to get there.
Where do you foresee the city's major redevelopment project standing in 2 years?
Well, you know, we were just, as you know, and just before this meeting, I was in with my economic development team, a meeting on our regular Thursday afternoon meeting, and getting updates on things, and everything's moving along very quickly. So we expect in the next 2 years, certainly POCO and Head of the Harbor South, at least phase one of POCO and Head of the Harbor South should be completed. If you're talking 2 years, you know, we're looking at the Sono collection, hopefully opening in October of 2018. The Berkeley and the Pearl are well along the way, and should be completed within the next year and a half. So there's a lot of progress, and we expect no delays, no major delays in any of those projects, and certainly some new projects that will be coming along. We will facilitate them as well.
Is there anything you can do as mayor to get the Washington Village project started?
Well, you know, I've had a couple of meetings trying to come to a resolution on that, and trying to get it moving forward, trying to get some understanding is, can't we kind of meet in the middle? We haven't had much success in that. Right now it's in court, and hopefully the court will rule that the plaintiffs have no standing in that issue. So unfortunately, it's just going to take a little bit of time.
Two initiatives of your first term were the task forces and the Mayor's Nights Out events. Will those continue in your second term?
Absolutely. The Mayor's Nights Out have proven invaluable in, again, bringing the City Hall out into the public. Depending on where we have them and what time of the year, we can have as many as 35 or 40 people there, and as you know, in a recent one, we had 2 people there. But they'll continue, because I think they're really important, and giving the people an opportunity to meet their council people, meet the department heads, meet the mayor, and have at least an understanding, if they do have an issue, how it's going to be resolved, or where they need to go to get it resolved. So they will definitely continue. Task forces, they've proven themselves over and over again. We have a master plan of bike trails for the city. they don't make much sense now, but as we start to improve our infrastructure and make those improvements, then you'll see how they start to kind of connect with each other. It's not going to be a massive bike trail all over the city. There's going to be places where they fit and where they should be. And then it'll make our bicyclists have bicyclists have a safer place to ride, and also in and of themselves, because they kind of narrow the lanes a little bit, there'll be traffic calming because people will tend to drive a little more slowly. Our Energy and Environmental Task Force has saved hundreds of thousands of dollars when you combine the savings for the city with the retrofitted lights and with energy efficiencies, and when we look at the savings that we've had for our citizens when they do the energy audit. So those two task forces themselves have proven themselves very worthwhile. And then we look at the Sono Task Force and the Norwalk Central. They're moving forward with recommendations and helping to develop those areas and looking at issues that are important to those areas. For instance, in South Norwalk, the parking issue. So our Sono Task Force is looking at that.
Anything else?
Not offhand. I mean, we've got so many things happening. We want to make sure that we just keep that momentum going. And I'll be looking to work with the council. We have six returning council members on our side and 4 returning. So we have 10 council people that are returning. And so the institutional knowledge is still there of the things that have been going on, so I don't think there's going to be any hiccups and any delays in getting the things moving. But no, so I think we're in good shape and ready to just keep on going.
Thank you, Mayor Rilling.
Thank you.